Hey now, say now, welcome back to the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty. Today we kick off the college football playoff and the Orange Bowl at Hard Rock Stadium as the Stanford Cardinal continue their undefeated campaign against a top dog in the Big Ten, the Ohio State Buckeyes. The road back to the national title game will not be easy, and today they face the crown jewel of a dominant conference in the Big Ten and set their sights on potentially knocking off one of college football's greatest. Number 2 Stanford, number 7 Ohio State. The Buckeyes' schedule this season included a 28-20 victory against Alabama to kick off the season. They then won 5 straight games before losing to rivals Penn State 38-16. Then they went on to beat Maryland, Minnesota, Illinois, Rutgers, and rivals Michigan to make it all the way to the Big Ten title game, where they again fell to their rivals 35-34 against Penn State. They then went on to beat number 10 North Carolina 31-28 in the college football first round. Drake Lindsey led the team passing this year with 4,600 yards, 42 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions for a great season for the senior quarterback to lead this team. The running attack was led by junior Stephen Comrade, who had 791 yards and 14 touchdowns, while Colin Wilson helped steady the backfield with 514 yards and 3 touchdowns. So no 1,000-yard rusher, where the receiving core in the passing game really led the offense. The receiving core was led by wide receiver Jabari Keys. He had 1,400 receiving yards and 8 touchdowns, while Paul Urban finished also with 1,400 yards and 21 touchdowns in the regular season, while they were rounded out by Jimmy Michelle, who was a 1,000-yard receiver with 9 touchdowns on 69 receptions. Defensively, they were led by Juan Contrail. The Mike linebacker finished with 96 tackles, 2 TFLs, and 1 sack. Nick Conrad led the defensive backs with 78 tackles, and Devin Sanchez, the corner, finished with 21 tackles. Tyler Gooden led them with 23 TFLs and 12 sacks, while Max Land finished with 12 TFLs and 2.5 sacks, and the fellow defensive tackle Maxwell Roy finished with 12 TFLs and 8.5 sacks. Their defensive tackles led their team in sacks with 12 and 8.5 respectively. The interception leader was cornerback Devin Sanchez. The senior cornerback finished with 3 interceptions, while Delane and Best both added on 2 picks themselves. So the stage was set. Number 7 Ohio State, number 2 Stanford, and the Orange Bowl. Dante Hightower is going to field this one at the 4-yard line. He takes it upfield before getting tackled down at the 17, and it's a long field for the Cardinal offense to start. The keys to the game for this one is simple for the Cardinal. They must hone in to stop the passing game and try to force the Ohio State Buckeyes to run the ball. However, the Cardinal got the ball first, and they faced a 3rd and 9 early. Pinto drops back the pass before hitting Jalen Mbakwe on the quick curl route for the first down to extend the drive. They faced another 3rd down, this time from the 45-yard line. 3rd and 4. Pinto's going to try to get him offside before taking the snap. Quick throw to Mikael Skinner. He hauls it in and turns upfield for the first down to extend the drive. They face another 3rd and 8, and this time Ohio State defensive tackle jumped off sides, and this one resulted in a penalty to cut down the distance to 3rd and 3. Then Pinto's going to run the read option, keeps it for himself, and turns upfield for the first down to extend the drive. They then faced a 4th and 2 from the 15, and Ohio State jumps offside again. This time, this penalty will actually cost them the first down, as the 5-yard penalty extends the drive inside the 10-yard line. Then, 2 plays later, 3rd and 7 from the 7. Pinto drops back the pass. Pressure comes, but he gets it away. It's Cameron Hazelwood who powers his way into the end zone. Touchdown Cardinal, and they strike first in the Orange Bowl over the Buckeyes. After the long drive, Ohio State finally got on the field, where Jabari Keys and Jamichael Shaver highlighted their high-powered offense. However, they decided to get the run game involved early. Outside give to Colin Wilson. He picks up a block on the outside and turns it upfield for a nice 13-yard gain on the first play from scrimmage. They tried another run, this time inside, but Sterling Sanders was ready for it, and he takes him down for a 2-yard loss. Then, Ohio State faces a 3rd and 12. Stunt ran by Sanders, and this time he comes through for the sack, dominating the drive and forcing the punt back to the Cardinal offense. They face a 2nd and 1 on the 33-yard line. Pinto's going to take the snap from empty. Direct snap, he decides to keep it for himself. He darts to the outside and sees nothing but green. 30, 20, he's tackled out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Huge run by the Heisman Trophy winner there to flip the field. After the big run by Pinto, they're going to give the ball to Chris Davis on the next play. He gets a block from Mbakwe, gets another one before running into the end zone. Touchdown Cardinal, and they jump out to a 14-0 lead here in Miami in the Orange Bowl. The Buckeye offense was being stifled so far through the first 2 drives. They face a 3rd and 9 on the 26. Stanford's going to look to send the blitz. It doesn't get home, but they do get to the quarterback. That is Sterling Sanders, who came up the middle, forcing the errant throw after beating the block, and Stanford forced another punt. Cardinal ball again, still in the first quarter. Pinto's going to throw a quick bubble screen to McLaughlin. He picks up a block and picks up the first down. Welcome back to Pat McLaughlin. They then face the 4th and 2 on the 39. Pinto's going to throw a quick strike to Jalen Mbakwe, and that extends the drive. They get the ball all the way down to the 1. Direct snap to Pinto. He tries to power his way in the end zone, but loses the ball, and it's recovered by the Buckeyes. Ohio State were on the verge of going down 21-0 in the first quarter. However, Maxwell Roy comes through as he recovers the fumble by Pinto after it being stripped away. Buckeyes looking to capitalize off the opportunity, but face a 3rd and 3. Quarterback Drake Lindsey is going to tuck it and run. He stiff arms the defender before getting taken down at the 42 for a big gain. They then face another 3rd and 3 on the 49, but this time the Stanford defense comes through with the sack. Jace Gilbert was the first one there, and they force Ohio State to punt the ball back. Then Stanford gets the ball with 2 minutes left to play. Pinto goes up top, and it's Jalen Mbakwe who hauls it in for the huge gain, taken down inside the 19-yard line, and the Cardinal offense cannot be stopped. Then, 1st and goal from the 9. McLaughlin's going to come in motion. Pinto takes a snap. He drops back, throws it in the end zone, and it's Mikal Skinner on the out route. Touchdown Cardinal, and they eventually put 21 on the board here in the first half. They jump off to a 3-score lead just before halftime. Ohio State is in big trouble here, going down 21-0 here at the halftime break. Mikal Skinner has 6 catches for just 39 yards, but the crucial touchdown at the end of the half makes it a 21-point lead for the Cardinal. We jump ahead, 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Inside give to Chris Davis. He runs it right up the middle, picking up chunk yardage for a first down. However, the Cardinal drive does stall out, and Dakota Clark comes on for a field goal, but doinks it off the left upright, and it falls no good. Score remains 21-0. Buckeyes take over, but they are in a dire situation, down 3 scores with just 2 minutes left in the third. Lindsey's going to take the shot from the 32. Inside give to Comrade. He takes it right up the middle and then sees nothing but green. 20, 10, touchdown. 1 play, 1 touchdown. And the Buckeyes get back in the game after a huge run by the running back. And the Stanford Cardinal defense finally breaks here. However, Ohio State's defense was still looking for an answer. Pinto takes the snap before throwing a quick strike to Mikal Skinner on the outside. He darts upfield for a nice 20-yard pickup. Then, later on the drive, in the fourth quarter now, inside give to Cameron Hazelwood. He powers his way into the end zone. Touchdown Cardinal, and they extend their lead back to 21 points, 28-7 here in the fourth quarter. Buckeye drive again, now down 3 scores. Lindsey's going to change the play before taking a snap. He throws it right up the seam and finds Shaver up the middle for a first down. Then they take the shot for the 46. Lindsey back to throw again, and of course he's going to find a wide open Paul Urban up the field for a nice chunk yardage. Then on 4th and 1, he throws up top, and it's Jimmy Michelle wide open in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown Buckeyes, and they quickly strike to get 7 back there. Cardinal ball now facing a 3rd and 13 with just 5 minutes to play. Pinto's going to take the snap from empty. They decide to run call a run play, and Pinto picks up chunk yardage to extend the drive. Then, 2nd and 7 from the 8. This time they send a man in motion, but he throws to the outside, and it's Pat McLaughlin for the touchdown. Stanford extends their lead again with just 5 minutes to play, and what a play call. This time they put McLaughlin in the slot, and he has a one-on-one matchup against the linebacker, and of course, he toasts him. Once again, Buckeyes down 21 points now with just 3 minutes to play. 3rd and inches from the 47. They drop back to pass. Lindsey has all day to throw before finding a wide open Jabari Keys in the middle. He picks up 21 yards to extend the drive. Then, very next play, on the 28-yard line, quick throw to Shaver up the middle, and he runs it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown Buckeyes, and they cut the lead to 14 once again, this time with just 2:33 to play. With them down 2 scores, they decide to go for an onside kick. It's a high dribbler. Stanford can't field it cleanly, and Ohio State recovers it to get the ball back. All of a sudden, the Buckeyes have life. 2nd and 2 from the 49. Lindsey drops back to pass. He's going to throw this up top. Double coverage, and it's hauled in by Jimmy Michelle. What a play as he goes up for the contested catch. Then, 3rd and 4 from the 5. He just dumps it off to Stephen Comrade, who fights his way into the end zone for the touchdown. The Ohio State Buckeyes pull off a miraculous comeback to cut the lead to just 7 with about 1:30 to play. However, the Buckeyes opted to not try another onside kick, and Stanford was able to force them to use all 3 of their timeouts before this direct snap run by Josh Pinto put him over 100 yards and extended the drive with just 1:22 with no timeouts left. Stanford holds off a furious comeback attempt by the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they take home the Orange Bowl title 35-28. Shout out to the Buckeyes. They kept fighting even when they were down 21 points in the second half. They found a way to fight back to cut the deficit to just 7 points, but the Cardinal did just enough to get them out with the victory. They take home the Orange Bowl trophy, and they will be moving on in the college football playoffs. 264 passing yards and 3 touchdowns for Josh Pinto on a day where the offense put up 529 yards of total offense against Ohio State's 380. The run game, once again dominant, 265 yards on the ground to complement 264 passing yards. They didn't turn the ball over, neither team did, but Stanford dominated the time of possession, 31 minutes to just 16. Drake Lindsey completed 21 for 28 passes for 271 yards and 3 touchdowns. Stanford's run game was led by Josh Pinto with 104 yards on the ground, while Chris Davis added 97 yards and a touchdown, and Hazelwood had 57 yards and a touchdown of his own. Ohio State's run game, Stephen Comrade had a big run that ultimately helped jumpstart their comeback. He finished with 83 yards and a touchdown. Stanford's receiving core was led by Jalen Mbakwe with 4 catches and 91 yards, while Mikael Skinner had 7 catches and 63 yards, and Pat McLaughlin added 5 catches and 53 yards and a touchdown. Ohio State's receiving core was led by tight end Jamichael Shaver. He went over 100 yards and a touchdown, while Jimmy Michelle had 87 yards and a touchdown of his own, and Jabari Keys was really held in check with 6 catches but just 47 yards. Stanford's defense was led by Sam Neely with 7 total tackles, while Sam Mattingly added 6. Larry Patalsi, Maxson, Stevenson, and Coy Beasley all had 5 tackles. Sterling Sanders dominated early on with 2 TFLs and a sack, while we also had TFLs from Jenkins, Johns, Richardson, and Stevenson. Sanders and Stevenson and Gilbert all had a sack on the day. Ohio State's defense was led by Juan Contrail, who had 14 total tackles and 2 TFLs, while Jadarius Minor, the other linebacker, finished with 13 tackles and 2 TFLs as well. Roy Mama Gooden also added 2 TFLs on a day for Ohio State, while Minor had the lone sack for the Buckeyes. So, Stanford knocks off one Big Ten opponent in the college football playoff and sets a date with another. Penn State will come into play against Stanford in the Fiesta Bowl and the college football playoff semifinal. So thank you guys for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode and look forward to the rest of the title run, please hit that like button and see you next time.